Hello my dear students. Today we are going to learn story The Comet. It has two parts, part 1 and part 2. We are going to include both the parts here in this video. Let's begin. Students, the theme of the story is not all discoveries are delightful. Some could even spell disaster. Here in the story we find a discovery, okay, and because of that discovery the protagonist is in trouble. Okay, he has lost his mental peace. So this shows that all the discoveries that are being done by scientists are not delightful. These are not happy news for all of us. Sometimes there are disastrous as well. Say for example the nuclear bomb, atom bomb. These are also discoveries, yes or no? But is it good for mankind? No, totally no, isn't it? So just like this, most of the discoveries which are made for making war and other things are not desirable at all. Okay, so we have to focus our lesson out here, discoveries. Clear? The discoveries that scientists are doing day by day, we have to focus our attention to that. Let's move ahead. In Comet 1, the characters are Duttada and his wife, Duttada's wife, Indrani Debi. Okay. Here, Duttada is an amateur scientist. Amateur means the one who is newly made. Okay, they are not expert. They have just started their work. Okay, so here Duttada has started his work as a scientist and he can't stay away from the keen-eyed Dibya Chakshu. For long, Dibya helps him achieve his secret ambition. Here, Dibya Chakshu is nothing else than telescope. By this, he was extremely possessed. Okay, he did not want to go away from this Dibya Chakshu or telescope because continuously he used to look into the sky. Okay, that if something unusual will be seen, then he wanted to grab it. Alright, but most of the times it was regular planets, stars and other things. Another character in this story is Duttada's wife Indrani Debi. She wishes he hadn't found the object of his search. Here, Duttada used to look at the sky every time, so he found something. What was that? We will read in this story, okay? But Indrani Debi, after finding that particular thing, was not happy at all. In the second story, Comet 2, okay, it's 2, Comet 2, we find a British scientist as character. Okay, British scientist writes a paper based on Duttada's story, discovery. He and the defense science advisor have a face-to-face meeting over an impending calamity. What is this impending calamity? I will explain it in this story. Okay. A conference of international experts might yield a clue to the cosmic puzzle. Here, there is a puzzle which is discovered by Duttada's. Okay, so scientists of entire world are talking about that discovery, whether it is true or not. Okay, it has become a puzzle for all the human beings and especially scientists. In the spacious dining hall of King's College, Cambridge, the butler. Here another character is butler, okay, who has important role to play. What does he do? We will read in this story. So till now we need to remember, children, that there is a British scientist who is concerned about the discovery of Duttada. Okay, therefore he had taken advice from Defense Science Advisor team as well. So what happens ahead? Let's find out. Let's see the introduction. A new comet has appeared in the sky and is heading straight for the Earth. Here a comet. Here comet means In Hindi, you can say dhumketu, okay, broken star. A head-on collision, which is nearly unavoidable, will mean the end of life on this planet. Here, this was discovery of Duttada, okay, and it was heading towards our planet Earth. If that broken star, okay, in common language we call it, if it will come to the planet that is Earth, then it is going to destroy many lives, okay. It is going to be catastrophic or dangerous. Therefore, scientists were on work. Scientists and religious leaders react to this situation in two different ways. Now, what scientists does and what religious leaders does, we will read in this story. What happened to the comet? We will read to this as well. Okay, let's move ahead. The beginning of the story is set on moonless night in December. Students, the story begins now and it is set on a moonless night. That means totally dark night in December. When Indrani Debi, the wife of the scientist, sleep is disturbed by cool breeze. Here, Indrani Debi was not able to sleep because of the cold breeze. Okay, because it was winter season, so the air was very cool. Upon checking the pillow next to her, she realized that her husband was not there, which she was quite already aware of. See, this was habitual action. This used to occur almost frequently. Therefore, Indrani Devi understood where her husband has gone. Knowing that her husband is forgetful about the practical problems of living, she took his pullover, wrapped herself in a shawl and walked towards the roof. See children, here what does this lady do? Indrani, she knows that her husband was not concerned at all about his health, because during winter season, without wearing proper clothes, he went to the roof. Okay, in the roof, he has kept Dibya Chakshu, that is telescope, and with that telescope, he used to observe the stars. Okay, so what she did, she took a pullover, she took the cloth of the scientist and started moving towards the roof. Okay, towards the roof. She knew that her husband would be there, hobnobbing with Dibya. Here, she was not able to see Dibya. Okay, there was annoyance with Dibya. Here, don't misunderstand Dibya. Okay, Dibya is not a lady, but the name of that Dibya Chakshu or telescope. Dibya Chakshu or divine eye was the name of the 8-inch long telescope. Please underline this. 8-inch long telescope belonging to Duttada. Duttada possessed this telescope, and because of this he was very much engaged. Okay, every time he was finding something or the other in the sky. And that very day also he had gone for watching the stars in the midnight. He was quite proud of its name, whereas his wife considered the telescope as designing woman. So she preferred calling it Dibya only. Here, wife of the scientist was so much irritated by this Dibya because now and then her husband used to leave the room and without thinking about his health he used to come to the roof. Therefore, it was troublesome for her to get clothes and remind him that it is winter season, he has to wear clothes, otherwise he'll fall sick. Rani Devi gave him his pullover while telling him that he better wear it if he wished to avoid bed rest the next day. Obviously, if somebody will be careless, then automatically they have fall sick and they have to take medicine and rest as well. She awared her husband about the same. Duttada, like any other amateur astronomer had a secret ambition of discovering a comet. Here, amateur means, I told you, not very much skilled. Okay, new person who is working in order to learn something. Okay, so as an astronomer, he wanted to learn, and therefore he is regarded as amateur astronomer. And his ambition was to discover a comet through his telescope Dibya Chakshu. He was quite optimistic about finding one with his 8-inch long telescope, even though there were professional astronomers with huge telescopes. Here, we need to understand that expensive equipments are not required to bring about a change. Okay, here, if somebody wants to write something, they don't require expensive pen. Okay, even low cost pen will be enough for it. In the same way, telescope which he was using was enough for discovering comet, and he was using the same. This was because experts are generally known to be busy with pre-assigned tasks, and it was quite normal for them to miss a passing comet when they were already not looking for one. Here, what professionals do, they watch for a while and later on they leave it like this only. But Duttada's desire was to see that comet live. Okay, therefore, now and then he was found with Dibya Chakshu looking towards the sky. Besides, Devdatta was positive about discovering one that particular night. He had been seeing a faint stranger in the background of the stars. Here, finally, Duttada was able to locate something in the background of the sky through his telescope. Okay, and he assumed that it was none other than the comet. Let's see whether it was really a comet or something else. And indeed, 2 days later, Ananda Bazar Patrika confirmed the news. Duttada had informed the Indian Institute of Astrophysics, who, upon confirming, communicated the news to the entire world. Here, Ananda Bazar Patrika, okay, this is the name of the newspaper, it has confirmed that yes, the comet is found and it is about to hit the planet. Okay, and Duttada had informed IIA, Indian Institute of Astrophysics. As per the accepted practice of naming the comet after its founder, the comet was named Comet Dutta. Okay, there is a tradition that the person who discovers, the person who sees the comet, the discoverer's name. So here, Dutta Comet Dutta became famous. This brought some unwanted attention upon Duttada, who wished upon leaving not discovered it at all in the first place. Here, because of this news, Duttada had become very famous. Okay, everybody wanted to know how it happened and what are going to be the next step, this, that. So, what happened? He was so much engaged. Okay, the person whose desire was to look at the telescope continuously, his schedule was disturbed. Therefore, he wished that he should not have discovered that particular comet. I hope till here it's clear, children. When he had to attend so many receptions, ceremonies and functions, her wife Indrani Debi wished the same, but because of other reasons, according to her, comets are known to bring ill luck. Here, Indrani Devi, okay, she was also happy but not much happy, because some of the people, they thought that looking at this broken comet is bad. It will bring bad luck. Okay, it is believed now as well, alright, in our society, that if you will see in the sky at night and if you find this broken star, then there will be something wrong that will happen to you. She wished that a good man like her husband was not associated with the discovery of one. Here, she thought that her husband, who was a simple person, hardworking person, okay, he should not have associated with this discovery, because this discovery, even though it brought name and fame to him, he was so much engaged and he was being questioned by everyone that how it happened, why it happened, what will be its consequences, etc. Apart from that, people believed that it is going to bring ill luck to the person who will see it. Therefore, wife wanted to avoid this association. Even though Indrani Devi was highly qualified, she was highly superstitious as well. She thought this comet brought ill luck to earth. Therefore, she decided to perform puja and havan in order to avoid this calamity. Students, here the story The Comet Part 1 ends, and what happens to the comet we will see in Comet Part 2, the Comet Part 2. So let's start with the second section. Now we will start with the Comet Part 2. In Part 1, we have read about a comet which was discovered by Manoj Dutta. So, what happens to the comet, whether it strikes with the earth or the scientists were able to deviate its path? We are going to read those things in Part 2. Let's begin. So, John Macpherson and James Forsyth had finished their discussions. Here, discussion regarding the comet. Okay. After reaching hotel, James started thinking of Comet Dutta. Here, James became very much concerned about Dutta's discovery, that is comet. It was heading for a collision with the earth. It was about to strike with the earth. Looking at the peaceful sky, no one could believe this would happen. So, James wondered if he had made his calculations right. Here, Sir James thought that if Dutta's discovery was true, because the sky was calm and composed, there was no vibration, there was no arrival of anything. Therefore, he thought, the calculations might be wrong. Sir John had organized a conference of scientists. James found all the experts listed by him were there. Besides Sir John's special invitee, Manoj Dutta was also present. The conference lasted 1 week. It continued in total secrecy. First, the experts checked again and again James' calculations. Here, the topic was very serious. It was regarding the survival of entire world. Therefore, many eminent scientists were called. Okay, there was a meeting. Conference means meeting. There was a meeting of all the eminent scientists, and in that list, Manoj Dutta, the one who discovered comet, was also invited. Here, this meeting was done in total privacy, total secrecy. Okay, and experts checked calculations of James again and again. Here, latest observations of Comet Dutta were made. The scientists came to the conclusion that there was no escape from the comet's direct hit at the Earth. There was a small chance that the comet may only graze the atmosphere of the Earth. In that case, loss of life and property won't be total. Here, latest observations were made on Comet Dutta. Okay, as we know that the name of the comet was Dutta because it was discovered by Manoj Dutta. Alright, so here, latest observations were made by those eminent scientists. The scientists came to a conclusion that Earth cannot be saved from the hit of the comet. There is slight chance, there is, low possibility, least possibility that comet will just touch the atmosphere and go towards another direction, but maximum chances was of a huge collision. Okay, so if it will just touch and move towards another direction, then there won't be any loss of life and property, but there is least possibility for that. Scientists rejected defensive measures. They decided to take offensive action. Here, scientists understood that taking chance is going to be very dangerous. Therefore, they said, no, we have to protect Earth. So what did they do? Let's see. The comet could be deflected from its path by giving it a push. They thought that comet which is coming from action, it can be deviated to some other direction by doing something, okay, by deviating its path by some means. It can be done through nuclear power. But a huge amount of nuclear power would be needed for this purpose. In order to deflect, in order to change the path of the comet, okay, huge explosion was required so that it can slightly move towards another direction to save Earth. Okay, so this was done, this was decided, but it required lots of nuclear power. The nuclear payload placed in a spacecraft should be taken near the comet. There it should be exploded by a remote control. Finally, a timetable was drawn up for operation. Duttada asked Sir John if he thought the project would be successful. Here, scientists decided to make nuclear explosion, and through that they wanted to change the path of the comet to save the Earth. For that, timetable was made when it will be brought, okay, near the comet, and when it will be exploded, who will be the in charge, everything. The planning was made, and Duttada asked Sir John if it is going to be successful. But Sir John, was in doubt. So he replied by saying that he would buy Christmas presents after December 15th only. This statement shows that even Sir John was not sure whether this experiment is going to work or not. Therefore, he said after December 15th only, he is going to think about his upcoming events of life. It shows whether he will die or will be alive. That will be decided only after this experiment. By that time, it would have been known whether the calamity had been averted. As I told you, after 15th of December, it will be clear whether they were saved, okay, along with the Earth or not. Duttada paid a visit to British Isles for 2 weeks after the conference. He visited observatories and exchanged their views with astronomers. Then he had a pleasant time. Then he returned to Calcutta. He was greeted by a large crowd of friends, social leaders, students, and hangers-on. He was garlanded, and the press asked him many questions. Here, when Duttada, after the meeting, he roamed around, okay, and it was a very pleasant time. When he came back to Calcutta, he was greeted wonderfully, and press was already there to ask him about his experience and what scientists have done regarding the comet. There was another crowd waiting for him under a pandal when he reached home. Here, when he reached Calcutta, there was a huge crowd and they asked questions, okay? But here at home also, there was crowd and it was under a pandal. Now what was going on out here? Let's find out. Indrani Debi, his wife, had arranged a Yajna. Okay, Yajna was organized. She had called the priests to bless him. Duttada asked her if she had done so because he had come from a foreign country. Duttada was wondering if the arrangement was done because he has come back from foreign country. But going abroad was no longer a taboo. Here, there are so many people who goes to abroad, okay, and that was the time when people had started going for education and other stuff. It was not something which was not prevalent. So he was wondering. He told her she knew that he didn't believe in these meaningless rituals. His younger brother said that they were very disturbed since he had discovered the comet. They were all waiting for him to perform the Yajna. Duttada found no advantage in such a religious ceremony. Here, everybody told that he has to perform Yajna in order to avoid the misfortune that would come upon him because of discovering of this comet. But Duttada was totally against these meaningless rituals, and religious ceremonies. But to some extent we have to believe in this, and after that we should believe in our hard work as well. If we do good to people, then automatically the good thing will come back to us. Alright, so we should believe in our karma rather than anything else. But apart from that, we should give importance to these religious ceremonies as well. But being a scientist, he had some other perspective. Shibaji said that the comet will not cause any bad effect on earth because of the Yajna. At this, Duttada lost his temper. He told his brother that it was superstition. Such a belief could be forgiven in the olden times. Here, Duttada became so angry when Shibaji told him to perform Yajna because it will destroy the ill effect of the comet. He said that in olden days it was possible, they believed in this, but not now. This is because people did not know what comets were. But it is not so in modern times. The movements of comet are forecast exactly. It has also been proved that their visits have no connection with disasters on the earth. Here, Duttada becomes so angry and tells that in modern times it is not relevant at all. People in olden times, they did not know about these things because there were no equipments and other things. Therefore, those beliefs were maintained, but not now. We know what is comet, and there is no link between comet and the disaster unless and until it strikes. So, he was totally against these things. Duttada had regular correspondence with Sir John after his return from London. They appreciated each other's qualities, so they became good friends. Sir John admired Duttada's scientific outlook. Here, both the scientists became friends, because of their scientific outlook. That means they had same vision, same vision, same view. Therefore, they became friends because of like-mindedness. Duttada admired Sir John's discipline and efficiency. They never mentioned the Project Light Brigade in their letters. However, Sir John gave sufficient hints about it for Duttada to understand. Comet Dutta was heading for the earth. It had neither broken up nor evaporated. Sir John did not mention about this project in their letters. Whatever discussion was done earlier, that was sufficient. And now, Comet Dutta was approaching towards Earth, and it had neither broken up and nor evaporated. What happened to it? Let's see. The scientists of the Light Brigade knew that threat of collision was real. Here, Light Brigade, the project that they started to deflect the path of the comet. In the middle of October, Duttada got a letter from Sir John, among other things. Sir John had said that the charge of the Light Brigade had begun. But there were many unanswered questions. Here, Sir John said Duttada that the project to deflect the way of the comet, deflect means to change the way, alright, to change the way of the comet project had started, and Duttada had so many questions along with other scientists, which could not be answered. the questions may be like whether it will be successful, whether the explosion is going to help, okay, whether it will collide and destroy the earth, what will be the consequence of this arrival of the comet was unanswered. Duttada could not share his anxiety about the comet with anybody. Duttada had so many worries regarding this comet because he was the one to discover it, okay? But he could not share it with anyone because his mindset was different and other family members' mindset was different. And there was nobody just next to him, okay, with same mindset to share these feelings. He had to take part in puja ceremonies. Because he was bound by all these systems, he had to take participation here. He had to celebrate Diwali and other festivals. His heart is full of anxiety, full of trouble, full of worries, but still he had to celebrate all these functions. Because according to the family members, after performing Yajna, the calamity has gone away. It has withered away. His only relaxation was in company of his grandson, Khoka. He spent his nights looking at the stars through Dibya. We know what is Dibya? It is telescope. Okay. He was regularly following the course of the comet. With that Dibya Chakshu, he was looking at the arrival and the path of the comet. It was now clearly visible even to the naked eyes. It was visible to the naked eye. That means Dibya Chakshu, that is telescope, was not required. It had come so near towards the earth. On November 18th, a special message came from the British Council. He had brought a message from Sir John. He had brought a message from Sir John. When Duttada read it, he lost all his laziness. Maybe the news was regarding the Project Light Brigade. He rushed to his favorite Rasgulla shop. Sir John's message was, I am confident now of buying my Christmas presents on December 15th. So this message was positive and it showed that they were successful in their Project Light Brigade. On December 15th, Comet Dutta came nearest the Earth. It was 80,000 kilometers away. Many people saw and admired it, but only a few knew that they had been quite close to total destruction. Duttada's and Indrani Devi's different attitudes are seen. Duttada, we told you that he had scientific and rational point of view, whereas Debi, Indrani Devi, was superstitious. So here there was a little bit of clash in attitudes. What was that? Let's find out. Duttada told his wife that the comet had come and gone, but there was no disaster on the earth because of this. She replied that she agreed with this, but he should know how it was averted. That means deviated. Duttada was surprised as to how she could know it. Here, Duttada had gone to a foreign country and he had attended a meeting. Then he came to know about Light Brigade project. Then the deviation of comet. Okay, but he did not tell it to his wife. But now she says that she knew it. Okay, it was because she thinks that it is because of Yajna that was performed. Okay, he had never mentioned Light Brigade, Project Light Brigade to her. On being asked, she said that there was no disaster because of the Yajna in their house. Duttada remarked that he never performed the Yajna. Indrani Devi told him that he had found a way out. Khoka, their grandson, became his representative at the Yajna. Indrani Devi was feeling very happy. Here, Duttada says that he had never performed the Yajna. Indrani Devi told that it was his grandson who represented him and performed the Yajna, therefore it was successful and it did not cause any destruction to the earth. Duttada thought of Khoka performing of Yajna, uttering mantras. He imagined, okay? Then he thought of the scientists at the conference. Here, there are two approaches, okay, to a situation. One is superstitious and one is scientific. So those two came into his mind. It seemed difficult to believe that both pictures were different aspects of contemporary society. In the same society, Duttada is residing and Indrani Devi as well, but their perspective is different. Okay? Even education could not change it. There is a gulf that separates the rich from the poor, the educated from the illiterate. But the gap between the rational and the superstition seemed to him far wider. Here obviously Duttada could not rationalize the things that was told by his wife, okay, and here we find there is utter rift, there is utter gap, okay, there is utter gulf between practical approach and superstitious approach. By this the story ends, and here it is up to us, what do we believe, scientific approach or superstitious approach? But a human being should do good from their part, okay, whichever things they believe in, whichever task they do, they should do it wholeheartedly. It should be productive, okay, and it should be for the betterment of the society. That is what we get to learn from the lesson. Dear students, we have completed the Comets part 1 and part 2. We will meet in our next video. Till then, take care.